Hello and welcome to this session. This is Professor Farhat, in which we would look at employee compensation. What is employee compensation? People working for you, working for the company. You will need to pay them. And what are you paying them for? You're paying them for their services. So employee compensation include all form of payments provided to the employee in exchange for services. So they work for you, you pay them for those hours, for that time, for the advice that they gave you. While wages and salaries are the most common, compensation can include other forms like bonuses, commissions, fringe benefits, stock-based compensation. In some circumstances, non-cash payments, something you could give them something other than cash. Now, for tax purposes, not all compensations are automatically deductible. We have to know the rules. The IRS apply key rules. And in this session, we'll focus on wages, salaries, bonuses, and commission. We'll have a separate recording for fringe benefit, stock-based, and non-cash payment. Let's go ahead and get started. Before we proceed any further, I have a public announcement about my company, FarhatLectures.com. You are here because you are serious about mastering taxation. Whether you are taking a tax course, studying for the CPA exam, or enrolled agent, tax feels overwhelming, not because it's impossible, but because it's dense, detailed, and often taught at a pace that doesn't match the way you learn. The rules can feel disconnected, and the logic isn't always explained clearly. At Farhat Lectures, we slow it down. We explain the why behind the rules, break concept into simple steps, and rebuild your understanding from the ground up without assuming any prior knowledge. When explanation matches your learning, everything changes. The confusion fades, the rules start to connect, and tax becomes manageable. If you are ready to understand tax with clarity and confidence, start your free trial at farhatlectures.com, and let's build your tax foundation together. For a compensation to be deductible, that's important. Deductible as a business expense, because that's what the company wants. They want to take the deduction. It has to be ordinary and necessary. The payment must relate directly to the business. You're paying them for something that they're doing work for you. The compensation has to be reasonable, must align with industry standard, especially when it comes to S corporation. Services actually performed. There must be evidence the employee provided the services. Exception, like sick pay or maternity pay, that's different, but that's in a way you are compensating them. It has to be paid or incurred during the tax year. Now keep in mind, the reason I'm saying this, because if the compensation is excessive, you will see there are specific rules. The IRS can disallow the excess portion as a deduction. You can pay, but you're not going to get the deduction. So reasonableness of compensation. Let's assume Bright Path pays their CEO $800,000 annually. And the IRS reviewed this, and they determined that the CEO works 8 hours per week, while other executives working full-time earning $150. Well, guess what? The IRS would say you cannot take the $800,000 deduction because it is unreasonable. They can challenge you. So the compensation has to be reasonable. Supplemental wages. What are supplemental wages? Supplemental wages are wages paid in addition to your regular wages. For example, I offer supplemental CPA courses. In other words, you have a course and you take my course. Common examples will be bonuses, commission, overtime pay, awards. What are some additional examples? Maybe back pay, severance pay, payment for unused vacation or sick leave, retroactive salary increases. These amounts are subject to income tax withholding. Supplemental wages are just like, they're treated like wages, subject to FICA, which is Social Security and Medicare, and potentially subject to backup withholding. And from the employer perspective, they are deducted just like wages expense. So it's for when the company pays them, they can take the deduction on their income tax. So examples of supplemental wages versus reimbursement. Sarah works for a retail company and earns salary of $3,000, commission of 10, bonuses of 2. All these compensations are taxable. But also Sarah received a $500 reimbursement for travel expense. Well, and we have an accountable plan. It means Sarah will have to submit the paperwork, show the proper documentation to get paid. The result will be salaries, commission, and bonus are taxable, reimbursement not taxable, and deductible by the employer. In other words, they paid it, you gave it $500, they're even, they're at zero because they paid $500, they received $500. However, the company can deduct this $500 because they paid and no one reimbursed the employer for that. How about non-cash compensation? Non-cash compensation is what? You're paying someone with something other than cash. Now, this is not the usual, but we have to know the rules because it's important. For example, they gave you a tablet or a computer in a form of compensation, because compensation doesn't always have to be in cash. If an employee received property instead of cash, what would happen? The employee, they would recognize income equal to the fair market value of the property received. What does that mean? It means if this computer is worth $800, if you want to buy it, you'll pay $800. That's the compensation. If that computer is worth $500, then it's $500. If it's worth $2,000, then the compensation is $2,000. It's the fair market value of the item. So that's how the employee would recognize the income. How about the employer? The employer were treated as if they sold that asset. And obviously, the selling price will be the fair market value. In other words, if we want to sell it, we sell it for $2,000 because someone can buy it for $2,000. So the employer must recognize under those circumstances either a gain or a loss on that transaction. Because remember, the fair market value is $2,000. But they have maybe an adjusted basis of $1,500 and the fair market value is $2,000. There's a gain of $500. Because remember, we assume as if they have sold it, then gave the cash to that employee. Because the risk is the company is paying in property to avoid the gain. Well, the IRS says, no, you cannot avoid the gain. If you pay in property, we assume that the property is sold. You have to recognize a gain or a loss on that. So a company transfer a laptop to an employee of paying $10,000 instead of paying them the bonus, they gave them the laptop. So the fair market value of the laptop is $2,000. The company's basis in that laptop is $1,200. What does that mean? It means the company will have to recognize a gain of, you guessed it, $800. And this is important. This is important, highly testable. If wages are paid in property instead of cash, the employer is responsible for ensuring payroll taxes are paid in cash, because you cannot send some electronics to the IRS. The employer will have to pay the related payroll taxes, FICA, if there's any unemployment, Social Security, Medicare for FICA, it's all paid in cash. Just keep that in mind, because if you paid in property, it does not allow you to, not pay in cash. Because the IRS wants the cash. You can pay your employees in property, but they want their cash. Now we have to differentiate between employees and independent contractors, and we have a whole session about that. But employees are people that work for you. You tell them what to do, what time to show up to work, which items to use, so on.